Hey everybody, Peyton Rain here with another status report. We're coming to the end of March. We're actually, let's see here, it's about 30 minutes away from the 31st, so we got one more day and then we're into April. So a lot has been going on and not a lot at the same time. As we all know, a majority of us in the world is on some form of kind of lockdown or restriction of movement. So a lot of events, things getting canceled everywhere, a lot of things kind of going on. So, I mean, it's definitely affected me a decent amount. I've gotten a bit more time to kind of get some hobby stuff done for sure. One of the main things being I've really cut down on my backlog of build stuff. I've done some painting, not nearly as much as I ever want to do. I always would like to paint more, but I do have actually I have a couple commission projects that are kind of on hold right now. And then I've painted a few like my own kind of like individual models. I haven't painted any like full units, just some conversion models that um, were fun conversions, and I just wanted to get them painted as soon as possible. But like I said, most of my backlog is cleared. Pretty much all of my 40K backlog, build backlog, is done. I just have some stuff for Legion. I have the Crashed Escape Pod with R2D2 C3PO and a box of Phase 2 clones. And that's kind of like the main stuff I have for build backlog for them. And then the only other thing is I have like some Dooku, Rex, and stuff like that, and Grievous um, that are more kind of, I guess, sort of commission pieces, but I'm working on installing LED lightsabers in some of them. But other than that, like that's kind of it really. I don't really have any other backlog for Legion other than really the Escape Pod and the Phase 2 clones. Um, I mentioned, like I had shown some pictures and everything. I had built up the Saber tank from Legion, which is actually a super fun build. I had kind of seen some unboxing and a little assembly videos here and there. Uh, but to actually get my hands on and actually put it together, it was actually a real breeze. It looks pretty intimidating, just because the way they break up the models is a bit different than what I'm used to with like 40K stuff. But it went together really well. There was really no issue with misalignment or anything like that. And then it might just because I don't know if it's the type of plastic they're using or the way they're doing their molds or what, but there's like no flash issues or mold lines really. It was a very clean, easy build. And then also the other thing I mentioned, I've just gotten a video done with my Thunderhawk gunship that I've had like a year or more now. Finally got that assembled. Super happy with that. But like I said, that's on the back of my paint queue as of right now. Just got so much other stuff that will get played before it does. Um, that's kind of in the back. But I say it's in the back, but there is a huge inkling of me that really wants to jump on it as soon as possible, just because it's such an awesome model, and I really have some good ideas and some cool ways I would like to paint it up to go with my Star Commanders. Um, and for those who know, like so, my Thunderhawk will be Thunderhawk 42, and that's another kind of shout out throwback to the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command cartoon series that came out in the early 2000s. Because his starship was Starship 42, was his actual spacecraft that him and his team flew on. So that's mine will be Thunderhawk 42, and I'm going to paint it like again in Star Commander's colors. I'm trying to kind of follow the motif, like the theme, the scheme, whatever of his starship. It'll be a bit different because it is a Thunderhawk, and it's just the configuration of it's different. Because on Buzz Lightyear's starship, like the actual cockpit section was like to the rear of the ship, not so far forward. Um, but other than that, I mean, it's pretty much very similar in shape, really, other than the position of the cockpit. Um, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting that done and painting that. And then other than that, like I mentioned, I have some commission projects. But so one thing I want to mention with that, with kind of part of the reason why I'm focusing on like my smaller models and stuff like that. The two commission projects I have are like bigger vehicles, but my airbrush has currently kind of conked out on me. The compressor is good. It's just the airbrush itself has some issues. I'm not really sure why it's doing it. I've troubleshot in a million different ways, and really at this point, the easiest thing would just be to get a new airbrush gun. Um, but with everything being on lockdown, unfortunately, most places that sell the airbrush that I want is not an essential store. I could have ordered online, I suppose, but I just not sure the priority of things ordering online. I know a lot of places are kind of like prioritizing essential items only. So again, I'm not really sure. So unfortunately, a lot of my larger projects are kind of taking a back burner for right now because of everything going on. So be jumping on a lot of my smaller stuff here and there as I can. And then reading, I finally am being able to get back into the Paint Marines bookshelf. I just finished The Great Work, so I'm going to be putting that video together and putting that up. I'm working my way right now through Empire Lies, then the second Farsight book after, was it Enemy Within? I can't remember what the other, or Crisis of Faith. Um, that one, those were really great. Like I've said, like Farsight is kind of my guilty pleasure Xenos. I really like the Enclaves, and Farsight's cool, and the books are really great reads. Like the first one was pretty awesome. This one is really good so far. It's a little disappointing just from the fact that we don't have a Space Marine antagonist kind of jumping in there like we did with the Scar Lords in the first one, which the Scar Lords was pretty awesome sounding, and I still haven't seen anybody attempt. And I think this is like the only book where they really mentioned, but they sound pretty like a pretty awesome chapter, and I would love to see somebody do them someday. Maybe I'll have to do just a model. I'm really trying to stick to prioritizing my projects and sticking to for my own stuff, just my homebrew chapter and stuff like that. Not trying to deviate too much into other armies and other projects. Um, One-offs here and there are fine, but I don't want to get into full-on other armies. It just doesn't work out for the wallet and everything else in time. So work on that, and then I've just got a bunch of other books need to jump onto. But yeah, so this has definitely helped in that aspect of I've been meaning to get back into reading some more 40K books, and this has definitely kind of helped me get back into it, and so I'm just gonna keep that steamroller going. So, and then I guess the final thing I'll touch on is I've been still pushing forward with the Forged in Fire Quarter 1 contest. The April 1st was the deadline, or is the deadline. Um, so that is coming up quickly, and of the 5 finalists, I have 4 entries. So we're waiting on one person, but they still have till the 1st of April to get everything complete. And then I'm going to forward that to the judges, and um, hopefully one, they're still participating. I've contacted them a few times, and with everything kind of going on, it's been kind of busy and sporadic. Um, Worst case scenario, I might have to just do the grading rubric myself. Um, but I'm still going to push forward and reach out to them some more. So results from that are not going to be super quick. They're not going to come out like next day or anything like that, because I want to give them at least a chance to at least give me some kind of response if they're able to still help out or not. And if they can't, that's fine. We'll just carry on and move forward. But from what I've seen so far, everything is looking they're pretty awesome, and it's going to be that it's one of the probably the main reason why I really hope they're still in is it's already looking at what's presented. It's hard to like pick which one's the best. They're all great. Um, so I don't envy whoever has to judge them. Um, and it may end up being me, unfortunately, in a way, unfortunately. But yeah, like I said, we'll roll with that. We'll be flexible, but yeah, everybody's put forth some great work. It's pretty awesome to see their work, and uh, hopefully this continues to grow and get more participation with the next quarters. Um, I'm trying to figure out what the next quarters are going to be. I had kind of I mean, obviously there's like Chaos, Xenos, and stuff like that. But there's obviously 4 quarters in the year, so I don't want to like double up on like Imperium and stuff like that. But I don't want to get it too restrictive. Um, so the next one will most likely be just kind of Chaos related. And then we'll do a Xenos related one, but the Xenos one, I kind of want to narrow it down to non-horde armies, so like taking out orcs and Tyranids and stuff like that. But then it's kind of like, well, then the last one would just be Tyranids and orcs potentially. But I also wonder if you could almost throw in like demons, because they're kind of a horde army as well in a way, but you can also build them very elite as well. So they're kind of a, I don't know, kind of a borderline one. But I'm kind of thinking maybe doing it that way for the last few factions. So you'll have like chaos, excluding demons, just chaos, chapter, legions, whatever, um, and then going into um, Xenos, and then I guess you call it horde army. So chaos demons, Tau or not Tau, orcs and Tyranids. Um, Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts right now. Like I said, we'll see. I haven't decided which one is going to be for the second quarter yet. Um, Most likely, though, it'll probably end up just being chaos from the simplistic standpoint, since I haven't really kind of figured out how I want to break up the Xenos armies yet. Another one too is like Necrons is kind of a hard one because they're very elite, but you can just kind of swarm with a bunch of. They almost feel horde because you can put a lot of like warriors and other things on there, and with the reanimation protocols, it just feels like they're constantly hoarding you. Like it's just they're constantly coming back. So that's another one that's kind of a hard one to kind of pin down. But then if you do that, then you're stuck with what, just Eldar and Tau, I think then. So that might be a good way to split it up, because then you'll have Necrons, Tau, Eldar, Chaos Demons, Orcs, and Tyranids. So I may do it that way. But yeah, I guess, I'll call it out to you guys. If you've made it this far in the video, let me know what you think. What do you think the breakdown should be? How do you think I should go? And maybe we'll kind of take kind of a community vote from there. I'll probably even throw up a poll on the Facebook and stuff and see kind of what comes from that. So. All right, I guess that's it. I'll try to keep this as short as possible. I'm not sure how long this has been, probably, but that's pretty much what's been going on and stuff right now. So hopefully, I can get some more painting figured out and figure out my airbrush situation hopefully soon. Because at the very least, I'd like to be able to get the commission stuff done, so that way I have that done whenever the isolation stuff is lifted, and I can get the guy his stuff. Um, yeah. It's crazy, crazy world situation we're living in right now. So, um, but yeah, with all that being said, if you haven't already, please check out the Facebook page at the link below, and then also take a look at the rest of the YouTube channel. Please put a subscribe on there. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time.